الرحيم حامدا ومصليا ومسلما. Respected listeners, there are certain actions in Sharia which Sharia has encouraged, and at the same time the method has been fixed and stipulated. For example, Allah Ta'ala commands us in the Quran, Aqimus Salah, establish the prayer. Now, Allah Ta'ala not only commands us to establish Salah, Allah Ta'ala also gives us the tarteeb of Salah as well. A person must make ruku', a person must make sajda. How many rakats are there in Salah? We know from Tawatur. So Salah is not only enjoined upon us, but the method of Salah has been fixed. And that is why if a person was to come to the masjid and say, today I feel energetic and I'm going to read 4 rakats of Maghrib, even though in the mind of a person he may think that I am only increasing the namaz by 1 rakat, which means I am doing 2 extra sajdas, I am increasing my qiraat of the Quran. Lekin because Sharia has stipulated the method of Salah, his Salah will not be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we learn where Allah Ta'ala has fixed the method of an amal, it's important we stick to that method. Deviation from that method could lead to our amal being rejected in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are certain differences in Salah. Lekin allow me to say, those differences are not only accepted, but they are cherished as well. For example, Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, and one of the specialities of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa alayhi rahmah was he was a tabi'i. And this is a musallam fact accepted by the Imam, as Shaykh Zuhur Ahmad al-Husayni has written, Tabi'iyyat Imam Abu Hanifa, of almost 200 pages. He has proven that Imam Abu Hanifa was a tabi'i, a student of the companions. So Imam Abu Hanifa, for example, his opinion is, when a person starts his salah, he raises his hands once, Allahu Akbar, and after that he does not raise his hands again. And this opinion is actually established from a hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You do not have to look further than the 6 books of hadith. And just to let you in on, there's a hadith in Tirmidhi from Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, Sahabi Rasul, afqahu sahaba, the Sahabi with the greatest understanding. He demonstrated Salah to the other Sahaba and the Tabi'un, and when he showed them his Salah, Ala usalli bikum salat Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, fasalla falam yarfa' yadayhi illa fi awwali marra. Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, when he demonstrated the Salah of the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, he only raised his hands at the beginning of the prayer and he never raised them again. Imam Tirmidhi has classed this hadith as authentic. Or maza ki baat ye hai कि our brothers from the Ahli Hadith school, their scholar Sheikh Albani, उनके यहाँ बहुत बड़ा मकाम है. When he has commented on this hadith of Tirmidhi in his tahqiq of Tirmidhi, उन्होंने भी लिखा है هذا حديث صحيح. So even our brothers from the Ahli Hadith school, their ulama have said that this hadith which the Hanafiya use is also authentic. My Ustad Allama Abdul Ghaffar al-Dhahabi rahmatullahi, he passed away last year on the 27th Ramadan. He wrote a kitab, Juz Tark Raf' al-Yadayn, in which he gathered 800 ahadith and athar from the companions who did not make Raf' al-Yadayn, with Sahih Sanad ke saath. Lekin on the other hand, you have Imam Shafi rahmatullahi, Imam Ahmad, Imam Malik. All of them believe Raf'ul Yadayn karna chahiye. Between the 4 Imams, Imam Abu Hanifa and the other 3 Imams, there is muhabbat, there is ittihad, there is wifaq. Okay, none of them say, the Hanafi does not say, okay, if Imam Shafi'i's followers do Raf'ul Yadayn, unki namaz galat. And the Shafi'i does not say, okay, the Hanafis who do not do Raf'ul Yadayn, unki namaz galat. Yani there is muhabbat between both sides. कि आपकी नमाज भी सुन्नत के मुताबिक और हमारी नमाज भी सुन्नत के मुताबिक. यानी there are certain issues in नमाज जिसको हम कहते हैं फुरूई, subsidiary issues, उस पे इख्तिलाफ है लेकिन इख्तिलाफ की गुंजाइश भी है. इसीलिए इन मसाइल पे तशद्दुद करना नहीं चाहिए. हाँ, we are firm on our मसलक और अपने मसलक के दलाइल जरूर देंगे. However, if somebody comes into our masjid and he follows the Shafi'i madhab and he acts in accordance with the Shafi'i madhab, he has full right to do so. And nobody should condemn him. However, in those issues which are clear cut, like the tarteeb of salah, ruku is first, then sajda, 3 rakats of maghrib, 2 rakats of fajr, there is no gunjaish for ikhtilaf in these. So these are those issues upon which the Quran and Sunnah have given us explicit commands, and we have to follow them to the T. However, my friends, there are certain other issues in Sharia where Islam has encouraged that action, but Islam has not stipulated the method of that action. For example, all of us will agree that seeking knowledge, ilm seekna, to seek knowledge is a great action in Islam. And this is why Huzur alayhi salatu wasalam said, Al-ulama warathatul anbiya. The ulama, they are the inheritors of the prophets. Ajib nukta. Okay, my friends, when all of you think about your own inheritors, who comes to mind? Your spouse, your sons, your daughters. What maqam has Huzur alayhi salatu wasalam given to ulama, that वो खुद कह रहे हैं कि ulama मेरे वारिस हैं. A person only includes his family inside his warithin. In this hadith, Huzur हमें बता रहे alayhi salatu wasalam, indirectly ulama are included inside my family. और वो मेरे वारिस हैं. और the khasiyat of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam was ilm. The great khasla of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam was his knowledge. And this is why the ulama who study Bukhari Sharif, who study the books of hadith, they have a chain directly going back to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So ilm, my friends, is something Islam has encouraged all of us to seek. Can anyone tell me here, has Islam fixed the method of learning? No. Somebody can come to the masjid and sit in the Dars Quran, and his intention is, I'm here to seek knowledge. Somebody can go to a madrasa and study 7 years. My intention is to seek knowledge. Nobody will say, in the time of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, there were no Darul Ulooms, to Darul Uloom jana bidat hai. Why? Because the idea is we must seek knowledge. The method of seeking knowledge has not been stipulated or fixed by Sharia. Sometimes a person will go to his ustad's house and seek knowledge. Alhamdulillah ta'ala, for the past 5 years, I was studying by my teacher on a weekly basis, and I would, as classmates, we would go to his home to seek knowledge. Not in the masjid, not in madrasa, लेकिन उनके घर जाते इल्म सीखने के लिए. Sometimes parents call the ustadi home कि please come to my home and teach my children. वैसे मैं इस पे एक बात कह दूं, I firmly believe कि this is not in line with adab, to call the ustad to your home to teach your children. Ghaliban Harun Rashid rahmatullahi, one of the caliphs, he called a big Imam Malik Ghaliban, okay, come to my home and teach my children. The Imam said, if you want your children to seek knowledge, I am not going to come to your home, you send your children to me. There are sometimes certain exceptions. You live far from the masjid, jo bhi ho. Aam taur pe, we should make this usul that we do not call ulama to our homes to teach our children. This is against the azmat and grace of ilm. We should always show adab for ilm. Ulama likha hai, a person who shows regard and adab for ilm, the barakat of that, thamara of that, Allah Ta'ala will create within your nasr ulama and hufaz. And today we are gawah. Even in this masjid, mashallah, hamare Haji Saeed Sahab, Allah Ta'ala unko salam rakhe. Somebody who has served this masjid for many years, and in their khandan, mashallah, they are very respectful ulama. Aur mashallah, unke khandan mein Maulana Aman Sahab aa gaye. So sometimes a person, he himself may not have studied in a madrasa. Lekin because of the barakah of showing respect to ulama, Allah Ta'ala creates kuffars and ulama in their children. So friends, on today's age, because of COVID, we have online learning as well. Nobody will say that a person who studies online, he is going against Shariat. Why? Because ilm is maqsood. The idea and the goal is to attain knowledge. The wasila, the method has not been fixed. Whatever way a person wants to learn knowledge, he can. बेहतर तो ये है दो sit on your knees आलिम के सामने, और ये हदीथ जिब्राइल साबित है. Many of you will know the hadith of Jibreel. When Jibreel al-Islam came in the form of Dihya Kalbi to the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he asked questions. What question did he ask? Mal Iman, Mal Islam, Mal Ihsan. And in that hadith, the hadith mentions Jibreel al-Islam sat with his knees touching the knees of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Subhanallah. और इस पे मौलाना सलीमुल्लाह खान रहमतुल्लाह अलैह इंशाअल्लाह मिशकात कि we learn from this the adab of the ustad, कि we should sit as close to as possible to the ustad. तो this is asal ilm ये है कि ustad के सामने बैठे. लेकिन if somebody for whatever reason learns online, we will not say he is going wrong. We will still say he is obtaining the maqsood, which is to attain knowledge. And similarly, my friends, da'wat. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran encourages this ummah to give da'wat. For example, Surah Hamim Sajda, Allah makes mention, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. Who is better in speech than the one who invites, gives da'wat towards Allah, and he carries out good deeds. This ayat encourages da'wat. But the question is, what is da'wat? Allama Raghib al-Isfahani rahmatullah alayhi, he writes a kitab, ek jild mein chhapi hai, Mufradat al-Faz al-Quran, where he has explained every word used in the Quran. And when he explains da'wat, he says da'wat وَالدُّعَاءُ إِلَى الشَّيْءِ وَالْحَثُّ عَلَى قَصْدِهِ. Da'wat means to invite towards something and to encourage a person to obtain it. So da'wat ka ye mana hai, for a person to invite towards the mercy of Allah, towards the jannat of Allah, towards the ibadat of Allah, وَالْحَثُّ عَلَى قَصْدِهِ, and to encourage a person to attain the rahmat of Allah. So da'wat, my friends, is a general term which includes da'wat to Muslims and da'wat to non-Muslims. قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ. O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say, this is my path, I call towards Allah. وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Remind, for reminders are beneficial to the believers. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, aminu billahi rasulih. O you who believe, bring iman in Allah and Rasul. My friends, how is it possible? Somebody who already has iman, how can you say to him, bring iman? If you use your mind, the ayat would have said, "O you who disbelieve, bring iman in Allah and Rasul." Why is the Quran saying, "O you who have iman, bring iman in Allah and Rasul"? Alayhi salatu wasalam. This example I'm going to give is just for understanding. Otherwise, with the Me Too movement and the what you call the snowflake generation of today, it could get you in trouble. If there are two friends, both of them in their mid-20s, and one of them is upset over some issues, and the friend says to him, "Bhai, man up." Why would his friend say to him, "Man up"? Does that mean he's not a man? He's already a man. लेकिन मानव का माना ये है, ये रोना बंद कर दें, तगड़ा हो जाए. You're already a man, लेकिन तगड़ा हो जाए. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran says, "Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu aminu billahi rasuli." O you who believe, bring iman. You already have iman. Iman ko tagda banaye. And my friends, the effort of Dawat and Tabligh is actually an embodiment of aminu billahi rasuli. That we make our iman. Allah Ta'ala has commanded Dawat, lekin Allah Ta'ala has not fixed the method of Dawat. So if somebody goes into a Halifax town center and sets up a Dawah stall, ye bhi Dawat. And allow me to say, we should never look down on any effort of deen. If somebody is giving Dawat to non-Muslims, ye farz kifaya kar rahe hain. They're doing a great effort. Alhamdulillah, for 5 years I was part of a Dawah stall in Dewsbury town. बहुत बड़ा काम है और नबियों वाला काम है. So in the summer months we used to give out a bottle of water free of charge, और उस पे we used to place a message, something to do with Islam without mentioning Islam, ताकि when they throw it away कोई बेअदबी ना हो जाए. I remember it was Ramadan and we were fasting and we were giving out bottles of water to the public. One sister, non-Muslim, went past. She took the water and walked off. Very quickly she U-turned and she came back to us and she said, "I just want to let you know, I am not from the UK, I am from Australia. And this bottle of water you have given me, I am not going to drink it. I am going to take it with me back to Australia and show my friends what Muslims are doing in the UK." Take a Dawat. So friends, Dawat is also standing on a Dawah stall, giving out literature, talking to people, inviting them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dawat is also in your workplace. Sometimes a discussion comes on politics, religion, and you talk about faith. Dawat also is your akhlaq. Every single one of you sat here, in the jobs that you do, your job can become a means of dawah. Many of you who are taxi drivers, driving a taxi can become a means of dawah. Your kindness towards your passenger, the way you talk to them, and many times those who drive taxis will know that the customer who sits in your car, some of them are upset over an issue, and they confide in you like they do a therapist. This is your chance to make them realize that this world is going to finish one day. And our akhlaq, my friends, if we have a non-Muslim neighbor, from time to time, हमने उनको चावल बेच दिए. We send them चावल, we send them समोसे, पकोड़े. My friends, I believe that if as Muslims we were to send food to our neighbors, at least 30 to 40% of anti-Muslim hatred will decrease. I remember we once went to somebody's house to give a plate of food, non-Muslim. इतने खुश हो गए, मर्द रोने लगा. And what did he say? My neighbors who are non-Muslim and my own family don't do what you have done to me today. Dawah. So friends, when commenting on this ayat, Hassan Basri rahmatullahi says, whoever gives dawat towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he carries out good deeds. Hada Habibullah. He is the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is a friend of Allah, and he is chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as I said, my friends, there are different methods of da'wat. We do not need daleel for any individual method of da'wat. Lekin, Qurban jao, the effort of da'wat and tabligh has always been guided by ulama. And even though we don't need daleel, lekin all of the principles of da'wat and tabligh have been derived from the Quran and Sunnah. For example, some people ask, okay, what is the evidence of 4 months Jamaat? Where has this been taken from? This has been taken from a hadith of Bukhari. जो हम कहते हैं 4 माह 3 चिल्ले. Bukhari में है कि the creation of insan for the first 40 days is just a nutfa. The next 40 days it is a congealed clot of blood. And the last 40 days is when it formed into meat. So in 4 months, in 3 chillas, insan developed from a nutfa into meat. Ulama have written, okay, this means 4 months have a special attachment in Shariah, that if insan physically develops over 4 months, if a person were to derive 4 months of this hadith, he would realize, okay, a person can also spiritually develop in 4 months as well. Number 2, people ask, what is the evidence for chilla, 40 days? Allah Ta'ala mentioned in Surah A'raf, فَتَمَّ مِيقَاتُ رَبِّهِ. When Musa alayhi salam was called to Mount Tur to make i'tikaf, does anyone know how long he stayed? 40 days. And also in Tirmidhi, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, whoever reads 40 days namaz with takbir ula, Allah Ta'ala gives him 2 freedoms. Freedom from nifaq and freedom from Jahannam. So a person who goes out in Jamaat, the main thing they do is pray 5 times salah. Is chilla ki barakat se, you will get the reward mentioned in the hadith of Tirmidhi. Or what is the evidence for 3 days? Allah mentions in Surah An'am, Man ja'a bil hasana falahu ashru amthaliha. Whoever carries out 1 good deed, Allah Ta'ala will give him the reward of 10. On this I remember, somebody asked my Shaykh, Mutakallim Islam, Mawlana Muhammad Ilyasghuman Sahab Dam Barakatum, कि Hazrat, what is the dalil of 3 days? So Hazrat mentioned this point. So after this, the brother mentioned, Hazrat, I have asked this question from many brothers in Dawat Tabligh. उन्होंने मुझे जवाब नहीं दिया, आपने जवाब दिया. तो हज़रत ने फरमाया, वो उलमा नहीं है, उनका काम नहीं है जवाब देना. जिसका काम था आप उनके पास आए. The people in Dawat Tabligh माशाल्लाह बहुत नरम लोग हैं. आप उनको गाली भी देंगे, जवाब नहीं देंगे. उनका उसूल ये है, ना बहस करते हैं, ना मुनाजरा करते हैं. और उनका उसूल ठीक है, लेकिन when we have a question हम उलमा के पास आए. बड़ा मैं कह रहा था, Man ja'a bil hasana falahu ashru amthaliha. You do 1 good deed, the Quran says you get 10. Now if a person goes out in Jamaat for 3 days, how much reward will he get for how many days? 30 days. 3 days, man ja'a bil hasana falahu ashru amthaliha. You go out for 3 days, Allah Ta'ala will give you the reward of 30. The tartib of tabligh is every month you have to go, or you should go for 72 hours. So if a person spends in Jamaat 3 days a month, Allah increases by 10. ऐसे हुआ as if you have spent the whole year in tabligh. देखिए उसूल देखिए. But there is much more to be said in regards to da'wat. Umumi da'wat, many ahadith, Abu Nu'aym al-Dalail, Muslim Sharif, wa anzir ashtar al-aqrabin, and also going to people's homes. Wa asrartu lahum israra. When Nuh alayhi salam talked about his da'wat, कि Allah मैंने उनको जहरन दावत दी. Kulam dawat di. I gave them many types of dawat. Nuh alayhi salam mentions, "Oh Allah, wa asrartu lahum israra." Oh Allah, I gave them dawat in secret as well. Tafsir Qurtubi, when explaining wa asrartu lahum israra, he mentions ataytuhum fi manazilihim. Okay, the meaning of wa asrartu lahum israra is Nuh alayhi salam is saying, "Oh Allah, for dawat I went to their homes." और आखिरी बात मैं कहता हूँ कि one of the famous objections against Tablighi Jamaat is that they use weak hadith. That Fazal Amal has weak hadith. इख्तिसार के साथ मैं अर्ज करता हूँ कि my friends, this idea कि all weak hadith should be rejected, ये अहल सुन्नत का मकाम नहीं है. Out of all 6 books, Bukhari, Muslim के अलावा, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nasai, Ibn Majah, all of them have weak hadith inside. Hatta ke baazon ne, some have tried to weaken hadith in Bukhari and Muslim as well. The ummah at large have accepted weak hadith when it comes to fadail. Not in aqidah, not in ahkam, but for example, we all know reading the Quran is virtuous. We all know. So if you have a hadith which tells you the virtue of reading the Quran, which has already been established, you can accept that hadith even if it's weak. And this is the majority opinion amongst the ummah. I have in front of me, and I'll finish here, Sheikh Awama, he has written a kitab, Hukm al-Amal bil-Hadith Da'if, Bayn al-Nazariya wa Tatbiq wa Da'wa, 250 pages, proving you can use weak hadith when it comes to fadail. And he has quoted Imams like Yahya ibn Ma'in, like Imam Bukhari, like Imam Muslim, like Ibn Khuzaymah, like Ahmad ibn Hanbal, like Sufyan al-Thawri, like Ibn Uyayna, to prove the ummah in general have accepted weak hadith when it comes to fadail. So friends, I encourage all of you to strive out in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to go out in tabligh, and the sisters listening, to encourage your husbands to go for mustarat. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillah.